Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Graduates, students, parents, and teachers of the Victoria International School of Sharjah, good afternoon. When Mr. Pyra invited me to give this speech, I immediately accepted for a couple of reasons. First of all, because I have a couple of young nephews who studied here, and I saw this as an opportunity to give back to a school that has given them so much. But secondly, I've just always really enjoyed graduations, especially high school graduations. They're such joyous occasions and a reminder of a special rite of passage that many of us have been privileged to experience. Of course, and students who are graduates would know this, they are also a celebration of making it through 12 grueling years of homework and projects and exams, and they mark the beginning of a new educational adventure. Graduates, as I stand here on the stage, I am reminded of when I was sitting in your seats at my high school graduation. And I remember what I was thinking when the guest speaker was speaking. I was sitting there under the lights, feeling really hot, and I kept thinking, when on earth are they going to stop talking so that we can finally get our diploma? So I promise I'm going to try not to do that to you. I know a lot of the graduation speakers talk about things like back in the day and when I was your age, but I promise to keep this short and hopefully interesting. In the meantime, when I was your age, no, but really, when I was your age, applying to universities for the first time, I wasn't the most confident student. I had my heart set on universities like Harvard and Oxford and Cambridge, but to be honest, I didn't think I was good enough. I was sure that I would never get the A-level grades that these schools required, and honestly, I didn't even apply because I thought I would be rejected. That summer, when my A-level results actually came out, they were so good that I realized I could have applied to those schools after all, but I had missed my chance. After I graduated from university, and when I was looking for my first job, I remember one of my father's friends telling me about a company called McKinsey. He said, Najla, this is one of the best companies in the world, but they only take the best candidates. I thought back to how I underestimated myself when I was applying to university, and I was determined not to make the same mistake again. I spent the next week working on my CV, and I submitted it to the McKinsey office in Dubai. And I remember walking in for the interview, a little nervous, but also so excited and so ready to build my career as a top management consultant. Guess what happened? The interview didn't exactly go as planned. I didn't get in. This time though, instead of feeling that I was not good enough and fearing failure, I decided to embrace it. I promised myself that somehow, someday, I will make it to McKinsey. I ended up starting my career at a different company, PwC, also a great company, and I worked hard to improve my knowledge and build my skills. I did whatever it took to seek out opportunities to learn and grow. I would take on projects that others didn't want. I spoke to my manager and asked her to be my mentor, and I worked late nights to ensure that I delivered on every single piece of work that I had committed to. And when the time came to apply for my master's degree, I aimed high again. I applied to Stanford, a school that I had my heart set on, even though others kept telling me I was crazy for even trying. I will never forget the day I received my letter of acceptance offering me a place in the class of 2007. And the story doesn't end there. After my master's degree, as my job search began again, I remembered the promise I had made to myself several years ago. And so I submitted an application to McKinsey, this time in New York. Guess what happened? I got in. And I tell you these stories not because I believe that success in life is dependent on where you study or where you work. It's not. I tell you these stories because the experiences taught me the power of daring to try something new, even if it leads to failure. Believing in yourself is half the battle. Graduates, be fearless. And to the parents in the audience, believe in your children. I cannot imagine the overwhelming instinct you must have to protect them, to keep them safe, and to ensure that nothing goes wrong. However, to try and to fail is a vital part of personal growth. And knowing they have your support will not only boost your children's confidence, but ensure that they are more willing to take the risks that will shape their future, our future. A future where those who thrive will be those who push themselves beyond their comfort zones, those who possess the grit and the resilience to overcome challenges, and those who are able to adapt to a rapidly changing world. Graduates, you may not know this, but this world has changed so much more than you can even imagine, that you can even begin to fathom. When you get home today, ask your parents about floppy disks and cassettes and rotary phones every time we needed to make a phone call. So you'll hear about how much the world has changed in the last 20 or 30 years. As you guys like to say, the struggle was real. But if you had told me one day that I would be able to order a car, buy groceries, and watch movies instantly